Mark Sanger along with you here at the Mooresville annual luncheon and events banquet here. It's a great day so far, having a lot of fun interviewing a lot of people. We have, the old saying, straight out of Compton. Well, we have Bobby Compton. I don't know how that really plays in, but it just sounded cool,
okay.
right?
It sounds good anyway.
And Bobby's a Mooresville commissioner here. And Bobby, how are things going in this great city? You got to, if there's not dirt showing everywhere, oh my word, what are you all doing down here?
We are wide open. It's a continuous growth. It's like I said, I try to say this every time I speak to someone when they ask me about growth and whether we're overcrowded, the streets or crammed with cars, anything. You're either growing or you're dying. And Mooresville is growing, and we have been for quite some time.
Yep, you are. And so how many years have you been on the commission, and what's the outlook for the future?
I'm in my third term, my third four-year term, so I'm in my ninth year. Prior to that, I was a 31-year employee with the town of Mooresville. Oh, okay. So I've seen growth from when we were a population of 8,000 up to where we are now, just over 40,000. That's
great. And so one of the things of growth is always, I have a quote that I have out, it's, where there is no vision, the people perish. And you say, if you're not growing, you're dying, right? Well, you got to have a vision. And where do you see Mooresville going in the next 5, 10 years? Can we go up? Is this going to be a second city, the King City, where you have big, tall buildings? What's next for Mooresville?
Well, Charlotte, I say, is a bedroom community to Mooresville. I mean, it's just, people used to flip-flop that, but I always say it the other way. We've already got our map drawn for our planning, how far we can go out. We've already talked to Troutman, because they want to come south a little bit, and we're going to go north a little bit. So there's got to be a line. So we have defined that. Oh, okay. And of course, we have Rowan County, just to the east, Lake Norman's to the west, and then we've talked with Davidson about how far do they want to come into Iredell County, which they have a little bit with the development, and they may want to do a little bit more just north of their border. And we're looking to go south, but it depends on how far that developer wants to take our infrastructure. If they want to develop something, they're going to have to take it down there to a certain point, and we'll have to say, yay or nay. We'll go from there.
And one of the things I've heard a lot of people in the business community talking about is Mooresville's try to become more friendly to developers, more friendly to get things done. There's still some hiccups here and there, of course, but what else are you doing? It seems like you've been able to attract some good businesses. What are you doing to attract the next? You guys have created that business park. There's a business park. What other things do you have going that's a good attractant so far?
I tell you what, we've got a great economic development staff, not only with the town, but external, and they do a great job for us to attract the kind of business we need to support our tax base. And there's some, and I hate to say this, there's some businesses that get turned down because they don't employ enough people, or they don't pay enough, or the tax base isn't going to be adequate.
Mark, I don't know if you know this or not, but your station and myself are kingmakers, because I interviewed Bobby.
Right. Oh, that's right.
So I believe I believe we are the reason he is the success he is today.
I'll take that. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. And listen, we'll treat you to a nice lunch today if you want.
Great.
Lunch is on you. I love it.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Don't tell anybody that.
That's great.
So let's talk about that. Let's go back years ago. I can remember you had this vision of what you wanted your town to look like. Talk a little bit about, now that you've been through it, sitting in that hot seat.
Yep.
Do you feel like you've accomplished some stuff through that process? And was it harder or easier to do that?
I think we have, because we kept our downtown a downtown. We have kept it the downtown that I grew up in, basically. Some of the same buildings, I won't say some of the same businesses, there are a few still, but this buildings still look the same as when I used to ride my bicycle down through there, or get a haircut downtown. So our downtown stays downtown. And to attract business and industry, one thing they want to ask, what's your downtown like? Or they'll come into town without asking us and see how vibrant our downtown is. That's the key. We have kept what part of Mooresville a vibrant part of Mooresville, what we want to people to see. We've kept it that way. People smile with a smile on their face. They want to come to Mooresville. We have to offer.
Your passion is why you and I connected years ago, because I know you absolutely support small business. You want to do whatever you can for the small business in the area. One of the things that I find endearing about this current president is his reduction of so many regulations and that sort of stuff. Talk about those regulations, because on a local level, it really does either prevent me from building faster, or takes me some time to actually decide what town I want to go to. You being on the inside of that, talk to some small business people out there that are thinking about moving their small business and just just the interior changes that have to be made in a small business, not to mention building a building. Talk about some of that, because I know you work really hard to try and reduce those things.
Yeah, we do. I tell you what, a lot of what we do comes out of Raleigh. Our legislatures in Raleigh kind of limit us on what we can do to attract certain businesses and certain things that we can do to attract business. That's why we try to keep our small businesses, I mean, they're the backbone of it. No, they may not pay the big tax bill like some big industry, but they're still they're a small business, they're an employer. And that's the big thing, to provide jobs. And so we have grants through the Downtown Commission and the town of Mooresville for grants for small businesses, whether it's a startup grant, a facade grant, an owning grant. If you employ this many people, X amount of people, and keep them employed for X amount of time, then you'll get money out of it. And so we try to work with people like that to attract them in there and fill up our buildings. And you'll see, you look at our downtown, look around Mooresville, there are very few vacant buildings.
Let me just say this, all the small business people in the area, if you're having challenges, go see this man and he will walk you through the red tape and somehow try and help.
I'll sure try, absolutely.
One last thing, how would you describe this chamber? There's over 500 people here today. Clearly, the town supports the chamber supports the town. How important is that? Kind of describe that relationship.
That gets back to economic development. The town is the largest chamber, what's that called, fund. We pay the chamber more than any other business because we believe in the chamber. That gets back to economic development and our economic development partners that we have. The chamber is part of that because a business coming to Mooresville, small or large, they're going to look at our chamber. They're going to look at the chamber on the website, or they're going to go to the chamber office, see what other businesses belong to the chamber. So they're huge in helping us attract small business and large industry. So they're a great partner also to work with. And today proves it. The amount of people here and where they're from. Not everybody's from Mooresville. There's people from elsewhere that are members of the chamber and they're here today.
Yeah, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much for supporting small business. Absolutely. And thank you so much for supporting the chamber. And we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Joe, good to see you again. Thank you
sir.
so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.